So you just got your first fountain pen. And by the way, congratulations. And then you realize there are almost infinite ink options out there. What should you choose? I'm Kevin from Fountain Pen Revolution, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing you want to know is you want to make sure you get a fountain pen ink. See this bottle? Bad news. You don't want this. You might walk down the wrong aisle at Michael's or Hobby Lobby and see a bottle of ink and think, that'd work great in my fountain pen. No sirree, Bob. This is calligraphy ink, otherwise known as India ink. You never want to put that in a fountain pen. In fact, if the ink doesn't specifically say it's intended for fountain pens, please don't put it in your fountain pen. That doesn't narrow it down a whole lot though, because there are so many fountain pen inks. There's Diamine, that's a great brand. There's our FPR ink. I could go on and on and on. So many brands of fountain pen ink. So what kind of fountain pen ink should you choose? For beginners, I recommend sticking with a pretty standard ink. What I mean by standard is no special properties. There are all sorts of interesting inks out there. Some have shimmer and sheen, and some are waterproof or quick drying or all those kind of things. And those are all fun properties. But what I like to tell beginners is try to find an ink that doesn't have any other adjective before the word ink. It's not shimmering ink or sheening ink or quick drying ink. Just get a standard ink. It's not that these other inks would harm your pen. They just tend to be a little higher maintenance, requiring a little more cleaning. And for beginners, it's better to get something a little more standard and easy to use. Now on to the next question, and this is a big one. Should I use ink cartridges or should I use bottled ink? There are benefits and drawbacks to both. Let's talk about them. Now, ink cartridges are better if your goal is something portable and less messy. You can put an ink cartridge, just a little plastic vial filled with ink that's sealed. That's what an ink cartridge is. You could put it in your pocket. You could put it in the bottom of your bag. And it's also a non-messy way to fill your pen. You take a cartridge and you simply press it into the back of the grip section of a pen, and that's how you fill it, and it's nice and easy. What are the drawbacks? The drawbacks of a cartridge is that they're kind of pricey in the long run for the cost of ink. Bottled ink is far more economical in the long run. There's also way more colors of bottled inks. If you like variety, bottled ink might be for you. I also like to use bottled ink because each time you fill your pen with bottled ink, you flush ink back and forth through the pen, so it cleans the pen out a little bit. Therefore, the pen requires a little bit less maintenance. Now, some pens will only take bottled ink. If your pen is piston filled or it's vacuum filled or a few other fill methods, then your only option would be bottled ink. The most common type of pen on the market today is a cartridge converter pen like this one. This has a converter inside, so I could use bottled ink, or I can pull this out and I could use a converter. So that pen gives me both types of options. I hope that helps you make your first choices. I'm glad you've started in the world of fountain pens, and reach out to us if there's any ways we can help.